Welcome back in, guys. Here we go. This is it. Who will win? Hype Unit or Hype Unit? Hype Unit PCL versus Hype Unit PML. I'm your host, Fawn, but of course, give it up for my man, the myth, the legend, Beast. He's here with me on desk. Let's hear it for him, folks. So good to actually see you on here. And of course, I'm super excited to be your host and get into the set that's going to be extremely amazing. I'm so excited for this, man.
I'm hyped to be here, my man. I'm hyped to be here.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm really ready to see what it is that we have in store for us, of course, today, because of the fact that PCL yesterday, they actually ended up losing, and PCL Hype Unit ended up losing to Pittsburgh Knights yesterday. A very clean 3-0, very consistent and very strong for Pittsburgh Knights. But they still have their run in the losers bracket, is exactly what we're about to see now. It's a matter of if they can fight back against this minor league Hype Unit. But PCL's been pretty good. I mean, 72-0, that's not an easy task for them.
Yeah, like as I said earlier today, the console leagues have been really struggling throughout this tournament. I did definitely say that I wanted to see like at least one console team come out, put up a good fight, and they did more than put up a good fight. We've just seen them win a set, and they were the team that lost to this team. You know, like this is where it's going to really come down to like, are they the top tier of the console league, and can they bring it out to beat another PML team now?
Yeah.
This is a very exciting match coming up.
Yeah, I mean, Exodia, I mean, the man himself, their DPS player, or at least one of them, I mean, he's going to be, I mean, it's going to be so interesting to watch to see how he can be able to fight back against Pan. I mean, the DPS players on the Hype Unit minor league team, I mean, this is absolutely crazy. I mean, it's like, who do you root for? Both of these teams from two different leagues entirely have such dominating performances, and Exodia is one of those players that can help contribute to the success of the of the console league team on Hype Unit.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be like, they're literally both undefeated in their own leagues.
Yeah.
So the fact now that they have to come up to be defeated by themselves is such like a perfect kind of fruition for it all to come out as.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be like, it's literally just, like literally the only worst enemy that they could have is really themselves. I mean, I guess that's who it is that is really going to end up coming down to. It's so strong for them. I mean, Exodia, once again, a really good player, and we see it here. He can flex on all sorts of types of different characters. So I'm excited to see, of course, how he's going to be able to fare against the minor league team for sure.
I don't know where to go with this.
Yeah,
one.
no, I understand. It's okay. It's okay.
Like,
it's okay.
They even scrim against each other. This is what the good thing is. Like normally, from like my understanding with my coaching prospects, like we don't see the PPL teams that we coach against like going up against console teams. It's just not something we do. Like we don't schedule it. We don't go for the scrims. But these guys do scrim each other, so they know exactly where they want to go versus each other. We're probably going to see some maybe weird drafts that we've not seen throughout the rest of the day. Because as I said earlier, when you scrim against someone a lot, you learn how they play, and you learn how to counter how they play. And that sometimes means that it's not necessarily the most meta picks. You know, you go for things that are going to win the match, not what's safe and meta. So I can't wait to see how this is drafted and how it all plays out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, once again, the minor league, of course, we have to talk about them too. Really strong players as well, man. I mean, these guys also undefeated, just like their console league counterparts, are just a team that can prove to be unstoppable if you give them the momentum. And we asked Thorner, we asked Edgem, of course, you guys saw it in that little post-game interview that we had. I mean, both of these teams could be keeping secrets from each other. That's what you were saying. I mean, the drafts can be sort of different. It can be what you It can be what you probably won't expect to see. There's some things that could definitely get in the way of what could be standard meta. Pay and his champion pool so wide. I mean, they could put him on anything.
Yeah, literally. It's cool as well to see now when we're seeing these PPL players that kind of like dropped out of the PPL, decided to form a PML team, absolutely dominated the PML season, only dropping the one set to unfortunate circumstances, not even actually having to play the set, unfortunately. And they've played phenomenal. Like the first game they played, the first sets they played, granted, they were not fantastic, okay? We can maybe put that down to a little bit of first day land nerves. The set we've seen them play today, they dominated. They've come out looking way stronger. The picks they've chosen have been really good. They've gone for some of the triple tank drafting with phenomenal DPS plays. Look at these little fancy little spins and his emotes coming out after his triple kills. Like, what more can you say about this guy?
I mean, that is literally them to a T. That's exactly how they play. When they're confident, they are feeling it, and you can tell that they are most definitely feeling it. I mean, I'm excited to see just all the stops that's going to come out because, I mean, I brought it up earlier just a little bit before, but I'll bring it up again. It's just the fact that these teams, they said that they like to keep strategies hidden. They don't like to put everything out on the table for everybody to see. So with that being the case, the fact they've been scrimming each other, that's going to play still a huge fact into how things are going to filter out and how they're going to maneuver, get from point A to point B as the set goes on. And it's going to be really a match of, I think, adaptability. It's going to be who can really accustom themselves to the other team first.
It's a weird thing as well, like if they are trying to hide stuff, do they let it out now?
Right, exactly.
Or do they save it for the next set? Yeah. Like, do they risk it and maybe lose this set, or do they just go all out?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to see where the map bans are, at least where we're not going to be going. It's going to be Bright Marsh. They got rid of Bright. Okay, well, come on, guys. Who banned what league banned what? Hype Unit just get rid of all 4 okay, all right. Shattered Desert, Timber Mill, Frog Isle, Bright Marsh. How I didn't even know who banned. Okay, don't even worry about it. It's gonna be okay. Map pick. We're gonna see where we're going for game 1, or at least who's going to pick what. It's gonna be Ice Mines. This is where we're gonna start.
I'm gonna say this is minor league then, because they went straight for Ice Mines last time. Took the nice 4-0. And the last time this game came up, so I'm guessing they're going to go for the same strategy here. Come out with a fight and swing, try and get the 4-0 in. Maybe, again, as I said earlier, demoralize their enemy, because if you get 4-0'd on Ice Mines, you know, that's got to hurt you deep in your soul. One of the maps that is supposed to go 3-3, besides a lot of recent games where teams are kind of figuring it out, but, you know, you should at least get a couple points on an Ice Mine map. So if you can 4-0 your enemy straight away, that's definitely going to help you out in terms of the long game.
Okay, yeah, well, you got rid of the Victor, though. Hype Unit Minor League did, excuse me. And the Con as well. Willow, Eevee, both of them gone. Console respond immediately with their Atlas and with the potential Vivian pick. That is who they're going to go with. And on a map like Ice Mines, man, it can be extremely polarizing. So being able to hold things is going to be really, really strong, especially on the Atlas with that divider, man. He's going to be able to provide so much. And then you've got the Barrack, the Genos as well. Who do you think, Bees, at least personally, who are they going to try and counter draft with what Hype Unit Minor League on the left side have been able to bring out so far with the Barrack Genos?
So far with the Barrack Genos is a phenomenal little matchup. The reason it's being so that the Genos doesn't have the highest heal output. Genos is normally there to damage amp, but Barrack obviously has the self-sustain from his turrets that allows him to just kind of synergize his Genos just that little bit better. And Barrack hits hard with a Genos. So coming in against this, and maybe we could see another Grok coming out. The deployables from the Barrack make it really easy for Grok to get a lot of sustainable damage coming out because you use the shock pulse on the turrets, and then that helps him get the ultimates that he needs to win point fights as well. But we do in fact see the Strix and the Vivian come out instead, which is really good. I said earlier, Strix against the Atlas doesn't work so well, but the Strix with the Atlas on this map is kind of a really nice pickup.
Yeah, I mean, the Bomb King and Kinessa are how they're going to try and end things on the minor league side here. It's going to be that they're going to be able to control a lot of space. Of course, you got to have your blaster. But I mean, Hype Unit on the console league, they don't have that. They've got double backline. They've got Atlas, Inara, Grover, Kinessa, Bomb King, Genos, Barrack, Makoa. You've got both power tanks in the game, baby. Whose draft do you like more, Beast? Who do you think has the edge here?
Do you know what? I would have said PML initially until they got the Kinessa. I'm not sure how well Kinessa works on this map. The reason Strix works well on this map is because he can peek out of windows very quickly and do damage. But does Kinessa have that same edge when she has to charge her shot up? You know, if you're peeking an enemy Strix on this map as a Kinessa, you might get like insta-burst very quickly. But when it comes to the aggression, I'm going to give it to the minor league. But overall draft, I think I'm actually giving this to console league.
Okay, we'll have to see who can come out on top. This is it, guys. Hype Unit versus Hype Unit. Who will win? Let's ask the casters. Which Hype Unit will win, guys?
I don't know. I mean, this is another scenario, I think, of... go ahead.
Hype Unit's going to win this whole set.
It's the lowest hanging fruit. It is. couldn't avoid it at all, but nonetheless, it is Hype.
I get it out of the way now so that you don't have to worry about it later.
We can get rid of it here. The team versus team graphic shows 2 Hype Units, and that's what we've got. One moves on, one goes home. And after witnessing Flashpoint, I mean, do you even call that a win? That's a dismantling of all business, I feel like.
Yeah,
in our last
that's a
set.
dismantling. That's a good word for it.
I think I was taken aback by how good their team fighting seemed to kind of improve in their shot calling communication from yesterday. And Hype Unit PCL 3-1'd them, remember. So this Hype Unit PCL team, arguably a little bit better than what we just saw in Flashpoint. But minor league for Hype Unit, arguably maybe a little bit better than what we saw in All Business.
This is actually one of the best things. You know, Hype Unit minor league has played already today, so they have that little bit of an edge going for them. 4-0'd earlier on this map as well. But they play each other a lot. This is something that does come through. They scrim each other to make sure that the console league team was prepared for crossplay, and the minor league team was prepared for console meta.
That's right.
So they know each other pretty well, and I think you can already see that coming to fruition. But this map is one that just in general I tend to lead towards the minor league because of how dominant they've been on it in the past.
That's right. After winning Console Wars, the PCL team gave a shout out to the minor league team, thanking them for just that, what you just mentioned. Minor league on the point first with 66% and climbing. Trenzik moving along this back sight line here. They're going to have to move on to the point sooner or later. Big hook in, pulls back one, but going toe-to-toe. Trenzik has to rewind here. Tay looking for a little bit of damage. The tug of war continues. We haven't seen this big sudden clash like we normally do in Ice Mines. Both teams playing it slow.
And this is one of those moments I actually love. Dethroner, first off, putting his name on the board with 2 kills right there. A lot of control, 90 to 63. But they take some essence away from Sanguine. Stigma is in this game with this Kinessa being played on this map. And right now, Edgem's making it look good.
That's right. I love kind of that counter. We haven't seen many sniper duels here and there. Another big kill for Dethroner to keep things moving forward. 5 streak now for him. That's kind of a funny point to make. We don't really see the Strix Kinessa sniper duel all that much anymore.
Not anymore. And that's the biggest thing is, you know, Bees had kind of hinted at it and mentioned it on the desk. But when it comes down to it, it's because Strix, you shoot him, if he's in stealth, he does not pop out of it. He gets a free shot on you. If he does it right, that's 2 free shots on you.
Ooh,
Peeking him is dangerous. Edgem is holding really good angles, getting really good shots. And with the little bit of bonus damage he's getting, plus the Luminary on top of it, that's where his edge is coming from.
Edgem is dangerous as well on that Kinessa. Every ding you hear is another minor league kill going up on the board. It's going to be the setback to pull back Tay. Only 1 kill on the board so far for Console League, and that's Exodia on the Strix. Damage all in favor of the minor league. Payload cart continues to move forward. You're going to have to look for maybe one last-ditch effort here. It's wonderful. Drop down, poke out to Throner. He has the Dome Shield. I mean, they have the ultimates to spend here, Gore, if they really want to push this one in, starting with that through time and space.
They only have 1 death on the board, so they can do pretty much whatever they want to. Dome Shield comes down. That's going to be 2 more kills. Looking for a 3rd. I mean, they have a minute left, Dave, but I don't think they're going to need it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. That one rolls right on in. That's a double kill from Payan. Still, 1 death is all that stands for the minor league team, convincing. We were trying to figure out kind of first pick, second pick, who picked Ice Mines. You figured it was probably their minor league team.
And, well, this is pretty much the exact reason to come through for it, right? It's because they're so dominant on this map. They showcased it earlier with a 4-0. I think they might, well, could very well end up showcasing it here. They already have with that 2-0, but it's a map where you lose the point fight, you lose the point. You lose the defense, you have a little bit of time to work with, but I had mentioned this earlier, Knights, Virtus Pro, there's a lot of PPL teams who have figured it out. Hype Unit here on the minor league have this map figured out. It is one that is not guaranteed for them, especially as they keep going. You're going to encounter more teams that know how to handle Ice Mines. But unless you've been practicing specific strats for Ice Mines, the console league here aren't going to be able to keep up.
Quick thought, Edgem going into morale boost 1 on that Kinessa.
It's going to give them that edge. I mean, you're looking for it. You get Exodia gone. That's just going to be even more kills, even more damage on the board.
He's going to be able to open up that space just a little bit extra. Big value out of that Ancient Rage for Tay. He has 2 in this fight already. Wall goes up, wall goes down. Hook connects onto Wonderful. Things looking good here for the minor league team as the shell spin out keeps Tay nice and healthy. Have Trenzik just being sneaky up in this high ground here, but he's kind of that last member alive for the PCL squad. No cooldowns left for him, and that means 1 dead Atlas. PCL team now down to 4 members as Tay rolls forward.
This is going to sound really harsh, but there's a fine line between sneaky and useless. And he rode that pretty well until he just died. I mean, there was really nothing he could accomplish there. And so it ended up, well, showcasing that he had nothing to accomplish there. Tank's still alive. They have a massive lead if you're the minor league team. And right now, there's pretty much 1 Inara standing between you and potentially another point.
They do lock up Tay, so that's a win here for the console league team. The rest of minor league actually starting to pull back. Trenzik is the beneficiary of that one. Edgem staying alive here. PCL are going to have that 4% per tick. Flashbang goes flying. find anything. Exodia looking for just a few plug shots. PCL, they stay on the point the entire time. Nobody from the minor league team able to move in. PCL get their first point on the board.
And this is actually something that goes forward with it. I think their draft, like, they come up pretty even. Grover, if he's able to hit big whirlwinds like that one, will keep them alive in this. And then you just have to hope that this Strix gets into a comfortable position. Edgem went really big in the first round, and if you can keep that Kinessa shut down or just keep your Strix alive and safe from Tay, then you don't have anywhere near as much to worry about. And Edgem, so far, like, morale boost. I like the idea of Headhunter coming up more often. I think his damage is going to be really good. It's just, are you doing anything with it? It relies on him to be full on damage.
Right. Talk about damage. T-Mac, big double with that through time and space. That's kind of what I think the minor league team needed. They steamrolled through the first 2 points in this game. And the mid-fight seemed to be going in their favor, and then Console League's able to fight back in, you know, kind of move their way through methodically through the minor league. So the big double snipe from T-Mac is going to kind of keep them in contention on this defense. Now one big fight, kind of the fight after the fight, to even just get back to the payload for PCL.
Well, looking to try and get rid of Trinsic. Trinsic just resets everything. Still looking like it might be some doom and gloom for him, but he's not going to go down without a fight. He gets rid of Pan, but there's the Whirlwind. Again, one of the best things about it, we saw the Grok a few times today, but Grover brings us just as well, and it is the fact that that ult resets so quickly. Unfortunately, I think for Shu it ends a little earlier than he wanted to. Him and Kinessa both go down pretty shortly thereafter.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can only stand in straight sight lines against Edgem for so long before he's going to find a way to connect on a few of those shots. So now with 40 seconds left, PCL having to fight back. Connects on that flare, actually. But it's onto the Makoa of all people, so it's not going to find too much value. Pan, I'm not sure they know he's up there. He knows somebody is. He's going to drop down. Absolutely exploded. Sneaky play by the Bomb King. This might spell the end with 15 seconds left, and Hype Unit PML looking good one more time on this defense.
Smart adaptation from them. Good control, and honestly, unless things get really shaky, which with Whirlwind at 51% right now, not going to charge up in time for the next round, that makes me lean more towards this minor league team being able to at least take their first map. I mean, 3-1, get comeback mechanic if you're the Console League. One fight does capture this objective for you if you can win it. Ult advantage, probably in your favor, but that Whirlwind, I think, is a key factor that you're going to be missing. Everything else has to go perfectly for you at the beginning of the next round, or else you're not going to be able to find it.
Oh, so it was the single,
that was almost 3.
It was the single snipe that the double kill, I think, was just quick enough. It was very close to a third, though. So good aim nonetheless from T-Mac. 23 streak for him, the only undying player in this game. And I know Krez loves to take a look at the dismounts that you're able to get through the gates. It's such a minor moment, but can play such a big role in just how quick you're able to get places.
It also can change the pace of the game. I mean, if Pan doesn't get dismounted right here,
or do
there's a lot of potential. And they don't dismount, so they still have a little bit of a lead for the minor league, but not anywhere near as much as if he had, well, you know, hit the shot.
They didn't dismount, but they all had to stop. They didn't get to continue their movement forward. So if nothing else, maybe effectively a wash there. Seismic crash, or wonderful, shrugged off by the Ancient Rage. Tay gets the kill as well. Payan rolls on through into that King Bomb. PCL pushed back. 3 members just trying to stay in this zone because you can't get too much more staggered than this. A game to win now for the minor league.
And they're in the perfect position to do so. They used a lot of ults holding onto it. Dome Shield, though, about to come up. That morale boost paying off for this Kinessa as of right now. And as long as Edgem stays alive in this, I expect to see him taking some pretty good shots like that one. And a Headhunter in a key moment, 99-99, will absolutely seal the deal.
Find a flank around Emmett Payne, but you got to be careful. It's very tough to win that engagement. As a Kinessa, Emmett Payne continuing to have that foot on the gas, finally gets the kill onto Edgem. Now the rest of PCL are going to move themselves forward. You have to be careful here if you're the minor league team. That fast cap counts quickly, especially on ice mines.
Payne, 1 shot, 1 kill here for Payne, as though he's just going to start melting through things. The Dome Shield's going to be able to buy some time, but that's not looking good for Dethroner. He's going to melt these shields.
They're going to take it, I think.
I mean, Payne, we've talked about Payne a lot in the last week about what he's been able to bring and not bring in certain scenarios, but this Vivian's looking good.
It is, and it's helping them grab their second point for the Console League. Trenzik in, Trenzik no cooldowns. That equals a kill for Pan. So now one more try here on the defense for the minor league. And the mid fighting, it's been adapted by the Console League team, and they've really held themselves in here. So no game to win, but a game to tie if you're PCL here. And this is, I think, what you want if you're minor league, is just to get that full-blown zone in, especially if you're able to grab a few kills.
I'm going to be 100% with you, Dave. I'm about to start saying blue team and red team. Like, I am on the verge here.
Yeah, but then they're going to swap.
So
then they're going to swap, and we're going to get... Then we're
no matter what, I don't think there's an easy way to do this one. Hype unit and hype unit, making sure to make it a challenge for everybody, even themselves. But it ricochets down to us.
Is there such thing as too much hype?
Well, and the fun thing is, with Flashpoint moving forward, Console League, whether or not hype unit win here, lose here, whichever
another one,
you might end up in a good position that Console could keep on going. Both of them putting themselves in a position as T-Mac. That's a triple.
They've leaned on him on all of these.
He's on
defenses.
a 31 streak.
Yeah, that's kind of nuts.
Get him out of here.
Get him out. Get him out of my game. 5-0-26 for T-Mac. Good point, though. I mean,
jeez.
PCL are hanging in here. I mean, we mentioned at the beginning of this game, both of these teams, all love for one another, same organization. The organization wants the best for both of these squads, but at the end of the day, both of these teams want to move on in this tournament. They both want to move on to the quarterfinals, so, you're wishing that your team wins, and PCL are hanging in there. The offense here doesn't look great at the moment, but getting a few kills maybe opens some stuff up.
If you can kill off T-Mac, that's going to be a good start.
That's a big old
This guy has been doing so much, but he's just slippery. I mean, look at this. He took a big shot there, and then he's just gone. He's out of there. And the biggest thing about Genos, especially depending on his loadout, distance doesn't matter too much. He can go through walls with his Celestial Touch, like being able to kind of heal that. So he's not stressed too much on being in the action the way Grover has to be. He doesn't have to be on you. He can sit, depending, again, on the loadout and the card that he has, pretty far back, even in base, and find a lot of those heals.
Well, this is close. It wasn't looking great originally. Yeah, the range of Astral Mark is going to allow him to kind of pivot himself, position himself a little bit easier. Trenzik moves in, doesn't have the chance to second chance his way out of that one. And that's a good example of it. He turns around and just tosses up the Astral Mark to Edgem, who's all the way back in base, and it's going to make good use of it with a snipe onto Exodia, but not without a few members of minor league starting to drop here. But if Payan is alive, there's always a chance. And that's all they need. PCL stays at 2, minor league, a game to win on this mid fight.
I think there's 2 targets that are huge on the minor league team that you need to get rid of. And as much as I want to make Edgem one of them, I think he's been just lackluster enough that you can maybe ignore him for a little bit.
Yep.
But you need to get rid of T-Mac. You can't have him doing this. And you need to get rid of Payan.
Oh, they finally killed him.
Well, the one death doesn't convince me enough. 6-1 and 28.
I want to know who killed him and how much ultimate charge they gained when they did it.
Jeez, and how much it cost them to get there.
That's true. Yeah, maybe you had to spend an ult to kill him. Maybe, I don't know. Do you immediately get it back?
You can not. It doesn't charge up, or you don't actually get the return for assists.
Right.
So as his streak mostly built on assists, you're gonna get a little bit of generation, but you're lucky enough. T-Mac's just like, I don't have to kill myself if I don't want them to get this ultimately back.
He had like 6 kills or something, so yeah, at least a little charge. But that's a moot point with how minimal it probably was. Tay chopping away, and the Ancient Rage is gonna shell spin onward. Look for a little bit more. Emmett Payne, this Vivian has really been a difference maker for Console League. A lot of these mid fights, and another offensive kill there for T-Mac. So now the zone is on for minor league.
And you do exactly what you need to. Dethroner, get aggressive. Tay, stay aggressive. Keep the defense going for this one. You find a zone, you're at 60%. T-Mac, just keep doing T-Mac things. Having a lot, this game, honestly, and this is to his benefit, reminds me more of Vex level of Genos play.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Wonderful, grabs the kill, grabs the stun, but eventually falls for his troubles. As Trenzik is able to trade out, it's 4 versus 3 now for Console League. That Dome Shield is going to do a good job of delaying things for minor league. Edgem, big shot's going to move off to the side here. Emmett Payne firing away, finds the kill onto Dethroner. So a lot of that point presence now mitigated for minor league. You're still waiting on your Atlas to get back.
See, that's the thing both of these teams have. They both have anti-point compositions. Like, you have a Kinessa Headhunter with the headshots that Edgem's finding. There's no chance that you're going to stand on that objective. Same way on the other side. Vivian plus Strix, you're not going to live standing on the other side. You get rid of the Strix, you make it a lot easier for your team.
That's big, and Minor League are going to look to take advantage of that one. Dethroner so very low right now, though. He needs to stay alive to give his team a chance at really contesting this point. Pan might round that corner. Looks like he's going to. Wonderful falls, so Dethroner finding that kill, very important for his team. Trensic hooked on in. Edgem grabs the kill. Things looking great for Minor League, 93% for them. Nobody in range to grab the touch. And PML, they strike first. 99 to 96, though. That 4-2, pretty close every step of the way. It started out with a pretty landslide. I thought this was going to be a 4-0. Yep. We were maybe going to start kind of tugging on the collars, worrying for the Console League boys here. But the Minor League guys bring it all together, and it seems like they're taking the advantage overall. Good draft for them as well. Pan, I think, went huge. T-Mac was unstoppable in that one, and that's going to be the key. I don't know how reliable you can be on that, but I mean, he's looking good now. Yep. He's going to be feeling good going to the next one either way. It's looking really solid for the Minor League guys, but hey, that's still just game one. And I think that's still one where if you're Console League, you're coming away from it, it's like we lose, but it was close. We were in there. Remember, that's one of Minor League's better maps. They went there to try to get the win in game one. We'll have to see if Console League can get something going for themselves in game two right after this.
Welcome back, guys. Well, after that first game, a Hype Unit won and a Hype Unit lost, and it's going to be the Minor League that actually take it over the Console League. A close game, nevertheless, still looking good for the Console players. Of course, they still have a chance to be able to try and adapt themselves, but I like the Minor League a lot, Bees. They did very, very well throughout that game. They did do very well. From the start of it, it looked like PML was just going to run away with it. It's going to be another 4-0. They played exactly how they did versus the other Console team, and it started steamrolling. But then the Console boys fought back, and they fought back well. Yeah. Just a few minor mistakes on that last point fight there as well. They could have easily had that. If they'd had a bit better positioning on the last point fight and zoned a little bit better, they could have held out there to at least bring it to a 3-3 for the final push/point fight. But yeah, as I said, very minor mistakes there. If they clean them up, we could have a nice, probably quite long set on our hands here. Yeah, I could agree with that. I mean, Edgem, 12, 4, and 18, 68, and 11. Shout outs to T-Mac, by the way. Throughout that game, man, oh man, was he popping off in so many different ways. 7, 1, and 35. Undying for such a long time. A 31 streak at one point. And my goodness, dude. Like, shout outs to him and the rest of the Minor League on Hype Unit, as well as the Console League. We see that Exodia and Wonderful and Trinsic, a lot of them were struggling to be able to try and find that pressure, find that opening, and trying to fight back against the Dethroner and the rest of the PML Hype Unit. But still, I mean, it was just too difficult for him. Edgem really, really put the pressure on. Yeah, as I said as well, especially when we see Edgem play so phenomenal on the Kinessa, but I feel like the Strix was kind of out of position. As I said, the thing that was going to give Strix the advantage into the Kinessa was the fact that the Kinessa has to peek out and let it shot charge up. But the Strix wasn't really in the windows at some of the point fights. He was kind of just on the low ground, which just gave that Kinessa a lot of freedom to pull out to peek and always have a shot onto the Strix. Whereas where the Strix becomes really potent is when he can stand in a window, peek from either side window whilst invisible, and the Kinessa doesn't know where he is. Yeah. Whereas if he's just on the low ground, it's very easy to find those shots. Yeah, it is. It is indeed. I mean, like, once again, throughout that game, I agree with you. I'm glad you put that in perspective about the Strix being out of position, because we saw a lot of times where Edgem was literally just free firing. I mean, there was a lot of times where he went uncontested by the opposing Strix, and the Strix Exodia also had a really, really rough game. I mean, I think it was like 4 and 15 or something like that. He was extremely negative, but that's just the type of pressure that you have to be careful of when you're fighting against an enemy sniper, especially somebody like Edgem, where even though they lost yesterday to Kanga, he still put on quite the performance on Frog Isle when he was playing Knessel yesterday too.
Yeah, like I do totally understand that Makoa was pressuring a lot onto the Strix through windows, so I understand why he's changing positions, but I still think him being on the low grounds maybe could have been a little bit in the mines instead. Like, still tried to find more of a sniper-esque position to do the damage from. I think that would have helped them out a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. We're going to take a look at the maps and see where we're going for game 2 in this set. Hype Unit v Hype Unit. It's going to be Jaguar Falls. Once again, a lot of the... this is very, very interesting, because we've seen a lot of Bright, a lot of Jag. And I believe I was hearing before that a lot of these console teams like these more flatter maps.
Yeah,
they like actually being able to use that. I was about to refer as to which team it was. I believe that was actually going to end up getting picked. I was going to look behind me and be like, oh, it was... Okay, well, I mean,
it was Hype.
It was Hype Unit. It was one of them.
This is console league that should be picking this one here. So, yeah, but definitely on these flatter baseline maps, console do tend to have more, not more of an advantage, but more of a home field kind of advantage in that sense, because... as I've said before, the lack of verticality to a map really does lend itself to console, because they don't have that omnidirectional aim that kind of PC is just that little bit better at, you know?
Yeah.
The left to right aiming is horizontal plane aiming seems to be a lot better, especially for the characters like Vivian that they like, Talus that they like, and especially Brightmarsh is a very flank-centric map. It's one of the only maps where you can bring out the Lex, you can bring out the Talus, and they're still semi-decent picks, which I think helps out the console league quite significantly.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I mean, having that aim assist is also, you know, that's definitely something that you have to be more worried about. But I believe the console team actually this time around is a lot of them are using keyboard and mouse, if I'm correct on that. The minor league, though, are opting to go for Khan and Willow this time, and the console league, I'm trying to see what it is they're actually using. I see some of them are using controllers, some of them are using keyboard and mouse. I think it's like a mix of both of them. But regardless, Makoa is going to be the first pick on the console league's side, and on the minor league side, once again, the Khan, the Willow, they have a lot of different ways to be able to shut down that healing just off of Dead Zone alone.
I really like the bands coming out from Hype PML. The first team I think that you can definitively say are actually doing console bans now. So I've been talking about this the whole day. I'm saying that we need to stick to PC meta, but Hype Unit PML has shown such a high level of respect to their console counterparts and banning out what I think that they've seen was a major turning point for all business with the Groks and the Vivians, and they're just saying, do you know what, we know we can beat them mechanically, so let's just take away what they're best at and just take it down to a raw fight. Because that Grok looked so strong in the All Business game.
Yeah.
Like that level of like aim assist with a Grok kind of lightning staff, that does damage. That was insane. So it's nice to see them actually turn around and say, do you know what? We're going to take this away from you. We're going to win by taking away things from you.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Genos and Inara on the minor league side, I mean, that is already looking pretty strong for them. And, of course, that explains the Grok ban. Don't want to be able to get farmed, like you were saying. All Business game is definitely a testament to when you can pull Grok out in the right situations. That entire set was so strong, especially for Flashball on that console league team. But I digress. I mean, on the console league team, on Hype Unit side, they're going to be finished locking in on May Furia, Dethroner, thinking really, really hard about who the last possible pick can be. And it's going to be Lex. You brought out the Lex before. Yeah. You did say a lot of these flatter maps, these more rotation-heavy maps, you can see characters like Lex. You can see characters like Talus. And there it is. That is what Hype Unit want to lock in for their very, very last character on Jaguar Falls.
So, like, this is kind of good for the PML team. The Willow doesn't necessarily need the extra damage, but it lends itself well to the rest of them. With the Lex coming through, the Inara gets a little less sustain with the Genos, but because of the Khan having the Battle Shout, that amps up the healing they're going to have towards the point fight as well. It's kind of on Jaguar Falls, depending on which side you fight from, the fire side or the dark side around the point. It's still very easy for him to come central, lend Inara a Battle Shout, and then the damage boost from Genos does its job as damage and not just his healing.
Right, exactly. I mean, here we go, guys. This is going to be it. The second game, game 2, Hype Unit versus Hype Unit. Let's go.
That's right. A little bit of spice coming out here for Hype Unit Minor League. They grabbed themselves the Lex score. Do you like it? We've seen some good Lex and some bad Lex over the last few weeks of games.
And you know what? We saw Edgem do both of them yesterday. It was really weird. On this map, he managed to simultaneously channel good Lex and bad Lex.
That's true. Do you think? I guess it's a roll of the dice at that point. They had a Torvald with it, though, right? I mean,
yeah,
so
it was an odd draft, I think, overall. They were more out there. This, it's got 4 solids and then the Lex kind of in the middle. I think a lot of it's going to come down to when he uses his ult. Really good against Barrack in the Dome Shield. Really good against Makoa in the Shell Shield. The matchup between him and Victor and him and Maeve, though, is where things get shaky. 2350 health. He doesn't have a lot of room for mistakes. He does fire slowly, so if you miss a shot, that might just be it for him. And I actually love this pause coming through when it does, because I can look a little longer at his loadout. And a lot of it is hitting an enemy reduces the cooldown of combat slide. So as long as he kind of keeps himself going, he's got a lot of mobility, plus with Warrants out, to get in, get out. Get in, hit some shots, and then stop the fight. Get on out of there, stay safe. And so it's a lot of pokey, like, I'm going to get the 1v1, then I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to get the 1v1, and that means he can isolate Victor, or try to. Isolate Maeve, try to. Isolate the support. If he can find the right picks, I think there's a lot of doors open for Edgem.
And he did. I remember at the beginning of that Torvald Lex game yesterday, it was like the triple kill, kept them in it. Things were getting interesting. And then you kind of noted towards the end of the game maybe a little bit of fall off, not quite as consistent on that Lex. Things maybe changing up a little bit for them here. So I'm excited to see if he's able to start that off well and then kind of continue things going, because you saw right as we paused kind of that flank around doing the third personing over the wall. The Maeve goes indoors. Apparently not, because they round the corner, get the kill onto Edgem. So a good start for the Console League team. 51% though on the point for Minor League. The first few kills make it 3 now, double for Exodia. Console League is off to the races.
And, we've been seeing too many Maeve EV bans. And not only am I happy to see them stray away from him, I'm happy to see Exodia pick up this Maeve and do
I agree.
this. I mean, that was a really good series of volleys from the knives, from the cooldowns. Of course, I have to give Trinsic a big shout-out because he hit the hook to set up one of those kills. But everything else about it has been solid control from the team.
Now they're at 96%. Just need to control for a moment longer, and that
do.
was all they had. A half a moment, and they grab point number 1 here. So the Lex, at least at the start, you pointed out kind of that duel with the Victor, and this time it's going to go Edgem's way, thanks in large part to that Void Grip. But right off the bat, Edgem got the better of that Lex. Is that just decision-making, positioning, maybe even trying to stay away from the Victor?
I honestly think it is going to have to be decision-making when he wants to go in, when he's not going to. Right now, you see his Retribution target is going to be the Victor. That makes it a lot easier to go find him and kill him, but you have to be careful with when and where you engage, right? If he comes in right now, you're going to get slaughtered by everybody else on the Console League team before you can touch him. But if you can get back there and maybe give a second, let everyone else move forward to the objective, Victor straggles behind just a little bit, then you can go in for that kill.
Speaking of moving forward to the objectives, that's what they're going to look to do now with the Inflame burning away. But Emmett Payne rounds the corner and finds an Inara waiting for him, and it's not really all that exciting. This is a kind of a flip-flop here, as the Minor League team is zoning out a lot of the Console League team, who has now fought in behind them, just trying to get back to that payload that they've captured. So while the battlefield is a bit mishmashed, the Minor League team now is going to start to fold backwards. Maybe draw that line right here to Throner. Caught out, is going to grab the healing from T-Max, from that long-range Genos healing. Not enough to keep him alive, as Wonderful grabs a double.
This is going to be a showcase of how Inara can kind of get shut down with a Genos behind her, of all things. Not necessarily the highest amount of sustain for the Minor League team, and that's allowed the Console League team to get back to the objective, start pushing this payload forward. As Cauterize comes online more, I think the Minor League team are going to have more difficulty fighting against the Console League team. Most of it, though, is leaning their way because Willow's so strong early on. I think Khan's going to be strong no matter what point of the game. You have that hinge in the Lex as to whether or not he's doing well. Edgem has showcased both already this game.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of merits to both sides of this. Console League team just have to make the right decisions at the right timing to make it all work out.
Well, timing is kind of the essence here, as we have 15 seconds left. They're trading out a couple, but once you lose both of your front lines, things become much more difficult to keep that payload moving in. So it looks like Minor League are going to be able to strike back with point number 1. You're gonna have to maybe try to adjust somewhat towards this next mid fight. It was all kind of born out of a big Edgem pick and then some great kills from Exodia on that Mave.
That's, I think, the biggest thing. The Mave, again, banned out too much this entire time. Was important throughout all of this. I mean, that damage. That's 1040. It's 1,000 health that's going to be effectively gone. You get Cauterize on this, most of it's going to stay effectively. Hooks set him up. Long-range volleys keep it rolling for him, even though he didn't get that last kill. That was pretty much on the back of Exodia. Him and Pain work so well as a damage duo that it is remarkable. And they're doing the Victor thing right now, at least for Pain. 11K ahead of the next highest damage.
Yep.
That's what we like to see out of them. They've gone for the record. They're going to deal with these shields. They've got Cauterized 2s on 3 people. This is good itemization from the Console League team.
They're going to need more of the same from Exodia to keep them in the conversation here. Overpower does connect from Tay, gets rid of Wonderful, who had a Dome Shield, so that's a big ultimate loss. So he joins the fight again. Trensic into the Ancient Rage. He's going to grab a kill as he flies on back and swings away at Edgem. T-Mac cleaned up by Exodia as well. So a couple big picks for Hype Unit PCL as they're going to kind of slow things down here and maybe look for just a little bit more damage.
Couple of good shots here. I mean, this is looking to melt through not only shield, but the health bar of Tay. They're going to be able to get that one. And I'm going to, I don't know if this is going to be a popular or unpopular opinion. It might fall right in the middle. I think Tay should have held on to his ult there. I think the guaranteed kill is nice, but using it to get 36% versus using it to win a fight is going to be significantly different. 40% right now, and unless they have some sort of miracle play, I don't think he's going to have it back for the rest of this.
There's a Dome Shield to be used now from Wonderful that could be tossed out towards the end of it. Wonderful grabs the kill, but 2 from the damage duo of the minor league, and 2 now for the front line for PCL. Payan looking to find an angle. Wonderful Void gripped up, but he's behind his shield now. The long-range shots from Emmett Payne ring true. 3 in this fight, shooting the ground. Looks like PCL have won themselves one more point.
I mean, right now they're controlling this objective fight. And the dangerous thing, and what I love that they're playing around, is that anytime that Dome Shield goes down, there's threat of a law coming through from this Lex to just blow it up.
It never got used.
But they, keep killing him in the perfect moments. I think Edgem is saving it for those moments. They kill him off first, and they say, okay, good, Wonderful, you're free. Do whatever you need to do to be able to keep going.
Nice.
Unfortunately, it keeps turning into moments like this where Dethroner is finding some phenomenal flanks.
That is a quad stun that's resulted in 1 kill, but the Console League team has 2 on the back end of it. The follow-up just not there, not just yet. Dethroner grabs a couple. Edgem is able to move forward and get some confirmed damage for himself as well. Call it a net wash, but the payload's still moving forward. A brilliant stun. Or maybe the positioning wasn't the best by the rest of the team.
You're going to have to figure out what they want to do. But that's the thing. Dethroner has been in good positioning so many times this game, mainly on the defenses.
Yeah.
But the last round, we saw him walking up, and he was getting kills when he walked up behind them. He was threatening the Mave, the Victor, the Furia, causing trouble for them. And it's been opening up a lot of space for his team to continue success.
And wow, Wonderful Void Grip up high, shoots down low, and grabs the kill. And Flame paying off in dividends for Console League. Emmett Payne turns around, counters out the double kill from Payan. Payload still inching closer. Tay last alive for the minor league team, kind of in range. Battle Shout's going to expire. Shield is as well. Now he has the overpower up onto Exodia. Are they going to be able to finish up the kill? They are with relative ease. And now a double kill from Edgem. Things were looking iffy, but much better now for minor league.
It's all kind of falling back. Once Edgem respawned, it provided a much-needed presence from them, a good Fae Flight from Pan during the last engagement as well. It's just kind of kept them rolling forward, keeping these health bars low perpetually for the Console League. And the damage, or the healing numbers, actually very surprising to me to see Genos 30,000 ahead of the Fury. I mean,
that's a lot.
She can keep up in a lot of these scenarios, although it does feel more like the Console League don't have the healing in the heat of the moment, whereas Genos has almost always been there for the minor league team.
Well, that extra range is just so confirmable.
It's, so nice.
It's not a burst heal, but kind of you get a little chunk out of it. They've been able to get dividends worth of healing from T-Mac in this game, and some kills as well. 5 seconds left, nobody back near the payload. Payan as well flutters back just to make sure. Minor league grabbed themselves another defense and another close one here on Jag Falls.
You can see the pressure kind of mounting on them. I mean, they haven't captured an objective here. They are starting to run the mill, like empty the pockets at the end of the day for what they're going to have in terms of economy. And that's where things get a little stressful. This game, Console League capture one more objective uncontested. They essentially have a full Tier 3 item ahead of the minor league team. And that's something they're going to have to keep in mind. And you know, even though T-Mac's healing has been very prominent, Cauterize is just going to become more readily available for the Console League team. Now 3 3s and 1 2 for their Cauterize itemization. A lot more Wreckers coming online. Resilience is coming online. Like, that's what capturing an objective does. The economy just makes you better in-game.
Yep. I mean, although the score is tied, the credits more for Console League team here. Tossing out the Inflame at the start. The morale boost is going to get that one back up maybe one more time in this mid-fight. Edgem finds the flank, grabs the kill through time and space. No good from T-Mac. Important trades occurring here as Edgem moves right down Main Street, throwing some shots in. Now he has the Law. Will he choose to use it here? Still holding on to it. Dome Shield dropped down. Wonderful staying alive. Trenzik swings away. But T-Mac grabs the kill there, and Wonderful seemingly is finally going to fall. And only 48% this time for Console League as Minor League are able to stabilize.
Yeah, it feels like the last 2 rounds, but reversed, right? Hype unit, wait out a little longer. The Minor League Hype unit, wait out a little longer. Just patience coming in from them. And the best thing is they didn't have an overpower to use at the very beginning, so it's going to be coming up. 80% now. Should charge up before this is captured, depending on how well the Console League contests this. Right now, it's going to be Midnight to try and re-engage, and they're looking for a Nara. That might be too big to bite off.
Yeah, he jumped over the top to get the overtime touch, and at least for now, it's paying off. But a big double kill from Payan is going to maybe push Minor League right over the finish line here in this mid-fight. 3 for the Willow, and no legs to stand on for PCL. And Minor League grab point number 3 with a chance to win.
If Payan had been able to start off the fight with a kill onto Payan, that could have been a different story. But unfortunately, that was the final kill he got before having to run away. And now looking to try and find defense. A lot of good damage from him, but Payan 14-8. He's been the one driving this home. That Fate Flight was perfect for him. He got a double kill. Keeps putting pressure onto Trinsic, onto Wonderful. He doesn't care about the damage dealers. He's going for the tanks.
What do you think about that dive over the top from Exodia to kind of get onto the point with that Maeve? I mean, it seemed to be for the overtime touch, but immediately killed in 4v5 disadvantage for PCL.
I think if they had been able to wait just a smidge longer, it could have been better. I don't think his team was quite ready for it, but they're playing against the timer. You got to go when you got to go. And now you're looking at this position of, well, I guess we'll just have to find a defense, hope for it to go better for us next time. Maeve got caught out twice, once at the beginning of that round and then once when he went for the retouch. Those kind of moments are make or break for this team. Pain, even though he's been doing a ton of damage, he's had some pretty crucial kills. Hasn't really been that loud. A lot of this play has been on the back of the Maeve.
And they might need a bit more of that out of Exodia. T-Mac one more time finds the snipe. He's been so consistent throughout this set so far with those ultimates. It's only a 1-for-1, but a seismic crash from Dethroner. Another good couple of stuns there. Edgem, double kill, but he gets hooked in by Trenzik and cleaned up. Last few members crumbling here for Console League. They won the mid-fights, but they will not win the game. In Minor League, they're able to turn it around, take the cap, push the cart, and get the win.
I'm not kidding when I say this. I think you ban Genos. I think that has been such a prominent threat. It's been a consistent source of damage amp. As well as a consistent source of damage. I mean, T-Mac is a threat on this champion right now. I don't think it's, you know, pertinent or like that outrageous to say, let's get rid of it or let's pick it just to make sure he doesn't have it. You have to kind of adjust your picks and bans for that. But, I mean, you go up 2-2, I guess technically winning all the points up to that point. You are playing incredibly well if you're the Console League team. But playing well and winning, you have to take one step to get to the other, and right now the Minor League team just seems to have their number dialed in.
And I like the way Minor League adapted a little bit. You know, you're on the defense for the first half of this game, flip things around on the mid-fight, and immediately grab yourselves a cap. One win away from moving on in this tournament and sending Console League home. Let's see if they can do it after this.
that, guys. Hype Unit Minor League, another victory, and they are looking absolutely clean doing so. Still closely fought by the Console League. They were able to fight back, but they weren't able to take another game, which now puts the Minor League at a 2-0 situation over their Console League counterparts. Peace.
Oh man, you hate to see it.
Yeah,
happen.
you hate to see it.
You hate to see it.
it.
It's weird as well because we've seen this is literally what happened to the PML team versus Kanga.
Yeah,
they won the first 2 points on Jaguar Falls, and then Kanga won the third and pushed it in, and then they just literally did the exact same thing now in reverse to their Console League counterparts. It was a good game though. It's still nice to see Console League again coming out swinging, getting those first 2 points, you know. But unfortunately, as the game progressed, it just started to swing more into the PML's favor.
Yeah, shout out to Emmett Payne as well for having the 102,000 damage, but T-Mac once again doing extremely well, man, on these supports. Managing to get some of these snipes, not only that, continuing to be able to out-heal, even out-healing the Furia. That's no easy task, especially on a Genos, but Payne, I feel like, tells a lot of the story here, not only with his slash lines, but just the pick that he had. This Willow played a very huge role in being able to try and counter out what PCL had to offer.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you bring up the healing, like, the detriment for the healing from the Console League to the Minor League, but Willow can be a major part of that with the dead zone. And the dead zones are being used correctly, and that can really strip a lot of heals away from a team, even when you have such a potent healer as Furia. Again, pointing out that they didn't even have Rejuvenate on the PML's team side, and he managed to out-heal with a Genos. That is thoroughly impressive. I was thinking, oh, maybe the Yanara had a lot of Rejuvenate, but she didn't even have level 1 on her.
Right, yeah. So that's definitely a testament to how Hype Unit PML are communicating and continuing their sort of run throughout this losers bracket. I mean, they did really, really well earlier, and now they're doing really, really well against their Console League counterparts. So it's a matter to see if, once again, I mentioned it in the very, very beginning before we actually saw these players play. It's adaptability. Will the Console League be able to try to adapt to the situation that the Minor League is posing them with right now?
It's tough to say because this is supposed to be the stronger Console League team. Considering we've just seen All Business lose out to a Console team, this is supposed to be the one that was more contention for the win for the Console League, and it seems just like they're struggling a little bit. Hopefully they do try and figure something out, because I would really like to see these matches go a little bit further with these teams, because I think this genuinely could have been such an interesting set, but it's just not going the way of the Console League, and I don't know what it is that they're doing that kind of isn't really working out for them. Like some of the picks they've done, like the Maeve pick on the first 2 points of that last game were phenomenal. They really worked for them. It just seems to be faltering as the games progress.
And they're going to have to find out something quickly, especially if the Minor League Hype Unit are taking their momentum to newer heights to be able to try and close out this set. But the bans are going to be the Eevee. They're going to be the Genos this time around, targeting T-Mac specifically, especially after his performances on this Genos. Not only that, but Genos can be a good ban as well. The Console League decided to do that, but the Minor League get Atlas Willow, and they've gotten rid of Victor Makoa. They have one of the power tanks. Console League has Khan. How do they respond with this piece?
This whole day has been the weirdest sets of drafts I've ever seen. I've seen people give away both power tanks. I've seen people skip a power tank to give the only one available to the other team. And I mean, Khan is a phenomenal pick. I'm not disputing that. But to give away an Atlas Willow for a Khan, I don't know, man. That's a big L in my book, to be honest. The Ashe Khan as well is nice. They do have the 2 aggressive tanks now, getting the IO for the point capture. But can they push aggressive enough into the Minor League team to make it work? I don't know. I don't see it happening right now. How it's got. I respect it though. You're down 2-0. You need to change something up. You're just going to go full aggression. I respect it, but I don't see it working.
Yeah, I mean, Console League though, they're going to be able to fall back onto this IO and try and pick that as their healer. And it is, of course, locked in, as you guys see right there on the screen. The Minor League though, they're going with the Furia. They're going with the Barrack. You've got Atlas, Willow, Furia, Barrack, and you've got that Inflame at your back. You've got that burst healing. You've got a lot, and you also can deny the healing it is that Console has. And I feel like that's worse for them because they've got Willow on the Minor League side. If Io's trying to pocket somebody, what do you do? I mean, they get the DR still, but there's no healing coming out of that.
No, and on top of that, the Willow actually does really good at taking out the deployable of Luna as well. The damage does stack up onto the Luna to do continual damage on top of it. I like the fact as well we see from the Minor League where they're taking the Fury here. They're kind of fighting aggression with aggression. They've said, we can see the Console League, you want to push aggressively into us for your team composition. We're going to take Furia. When you try and push us, we're going to pop that Inflame, and we're going to push straight back with aggression, and we're going to say that we're going to beat you mechanically straight out.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you have to think about and what you need to take into consideration as you're approaching these new matches right here. I mean, Strix, Vivian, right there. The last two characters that Hype Unit console will want to take. That is what they want. They want the double backline to be able to try and counter out, I guess, the aggression that Hype Unit Minor League can actually put out. But still, I mean, that's going to be a struggle for them still, man. I mean, Hype Unit Minor League, they've got one more pick. They can choose whoever it is they want to. Who do you see for this? I mean, Maeve's open.
Maeve's open. The Lian's nice as well, though. I do actually kind of like the Vivian IO into the Willow. Willow typically tends to beat out Vivian, simply because the shielding doesn't really work. The blast damage circumvents the shielding from the Vivian. But if you have that IO pocketing the Vivian, especially if you choose to go for the DR route, that Vivian is going to destroy that Willow. As soon as she pushes into him, you have damage reduction on top of your insane damage output already with the healing on top of that. This could be a potential way to fight back against the already aggressive team from both sides. Again, Lian now also kind of just there to counterbalance the Strix. They have very similar kind of compositions here. Yeah. They've got the nice background long-range damage. They have the nice insane damage from the Willow to the Vivian, Strix to Lian. This hopefully should be more of an equalized game than we've seen throughout the rest of the set.
I mean, we can only hope. This is it, guys. This is Console League's last chance to try and fight back against their minor league counterpart. But, of course, we got to throw it down to the casters to take us into the game.
That's right. Minor League are 2 for 2 so far in this set. Console League have gotten themselves a decent draft. I like what Bees brought up, kind of how the Vivian and the Strix are going to do such a good job at limiting Pan on that Willow.
And that's the biggest thing. I was actually saying it when I saw it. I was just like, stop banning the Eevee. Like, I don't care. Pan, he's a good Eevee, but stop banning Eevee. You don't have to. It's a waste of a ban. Ban the Willow. If it does well this game, that's going to be some trouble. Pan has been a nuisance on it. But they have the Strix. They have the Vivian, like you said, like the desk had mentioned. So that's at least enough to limit it. I just hope it's enough for them to not die in this moment.
And they banned the Genos. You figured they maybe should, and off the board. So T-Mac is going to have to pivot to something a little less potent, maybe, in the Furia. Yeah,
my thoughts were ban Genos, try to still get the Furia for yourselves. They ban the Genos, lose the Furia. So it's going to be interesting to see how that balances out. I like where it is, though, because it's kind of the conversation of damage amp versus damage reduction, right? IO, more consistent damage reduction, maybe a little worse off in healing just because you have to balance that resource so well. But, man, once that Inflame starts for Furia, it's a different game.
Yeah, things definitely shift around there at that point. Inflame, you know, such an automatic team fight, and that's what we saw a lot of benefit in with Flashpoint, where the moment that Inflame hits, you know, you follow it up with a Grok ult, something of that nature. Just the team fight ability that brings is so potent, so automatic, that I think that maybe gives an edge team fight-wise to the minor league team.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I think Strix is probably the one POV that's most important in this game, just because how often is he tracing that Willow out of the sky? Fae Flights are going to be very important, how they're traded out. We've already seen, though, today in the Ice Mines game, minor league team and in Jack Falls, they're willing to wait on certain ults or on certain characters until X is killed before we do this. I expect they will wait until that Strix is gone before a Fae Flight comes through, because otherwise you're just kind of throwing it all down the drain.
Do you think a lot of it maybe kind of pivots on that Strix and Vivian ability to lock down Pan on the Willow?
I honestly do.
I mean, a lot is kind of a vague term, but that's an important piece of the PCL game here, maybe.
Well, they have, I think, the perfect 2 hit scans to do this. Vivian can control one side, Strix can control the outside. And as long as you keep that up with Trinsic getting aggressive as well, where's Pan going to stand? If they can learn to lock it down that way, I think that's maybe even more important than just banning it, because it means you have a strat.
We say Vivian Strix, but don't forget about Khan. He is good at cutting down a high-flying Willow as well. Minor League were able to grab themselves 39%, but a big, clean fight from PCL. We're going to put them right back on the point. IO, most notably, is going to drop that Fox and move forward with the rest of her team. You can see Luna garnering the percentage here for PCL, doing a good job of that. The Pain backs off. Do one more re-engage here for Minor League. They're going to throw up the stasis field, try to move in under the guise of that. You know, Trinsic is kind of down around this corner here in the church, just maybe looking for a little bit of poke. Good shot, long range from PCL is going to limit Edgem and where he can move. 1-for-1 trade, though, with Payan going down.
And with Payan gone, that does open up a lot more room, I think, for the console league to get aggressive. But Io's incredibly low. You have Tay maybe getting aggressive here. Although he's playing with fire up against his Ashe in this area. Luckily, he's going to have Edgem get aggressive. But Shu, the one who gets the kill.
Almost literally playing with fire with Inflame, starting this one off. And you're right, Shu snags the kill onto Edgem. That's big for console league to keep them in this fight. Payan into the Fae Flight, looking for some damage around this church side. As Shu is going to pull his way backwards, but a dive in from Payan grabs him a double kill in minor league with some clean team fighting. Might just run away with this point.
And again, it comes down to what happens during that Fae Flight. He gets an Inflame, he hits the Fae Flight, and no one looked at him. He was just firing down on top of that. The only reason Khan lived as long as he did was because he was very fortunate to have a roof that appeared above him. He was able to retreat in time, but it wasn't enough. It didn't stop Payan. I mean, I think a lot of players as well, that's a ward. You don't go in there. You shoot at Shu, but then you don't get aggressive into that area. Like, there's a Khan, there's now an Io in there. I think Ashe was hanging out. Like, no. You don't just walk in there casually. Payan decided, you know what, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And he got 2 kills because of it.
He fluttered on in, grabbed a couple kills, and helped minor league snag their first point of the game. Tay, the double kill now, has cleaned up a couple members of console league. Look at where he's hanging out still, just up on that high ground. He knows Exodia is somewhere close by, knows Trenzik is as well. He's going to drop down. Too much potential damage up there from that high ground. Wonderful's going to turn around as well. Tay knocked back, not off the map. That's an important duel. If nothing else, Wonderful's cleared some space for his high ground teammates.
And Io, actually Io and Fira, I think is an important conversation to have throughout this one. I see the Fox Luna coming up pretty much every time around the objective. Io's been pretty winning. Furia has been pretty winning during this tournament, so that's going to be very important. I think Furia's had a higher KDA, but admittedly she gets more kills than you're going to have coming out of the Io. Right now, you can see the pressure getting put on. Wonderful is going for it.
Yeah, Wonderful is all the way behind T-Mac here, who tried to get away but unable to do so. The Fae Flight into the Inflame combo was there, but not enough. Wonderful with the final knockback onto Payan. That's a big play for Console League to keep them in this round. 45 seconds left, still a tall task ahead.
Wonderful has been kind of the source of countless saves by his team and for his team. It looks like he's going back to pay by something. He's over here. Morale boost 1 on the Ashe. Not a typical item for Ashe, but I don't dislike it. I actually love the concept behind it. You go in, you get that. Assert dominance is so important for. Why not have it up a little more often, a little more reliably?
We're going to see just a few more, and you can see he's getting, 2-3% more for each kind of direct attack as he had been. He was at 20% just a moment ago, and now all the way back to 50. So maybe more assert dominances. We're Wonderful on the PCL side. Shu up on the high ground, 3 seconds left. Overtime will start here, but low to Throner. It won't start. They needed him, but a good shot from Exodia is going to seal up that defense, and PCL, they strike back with a point of their own.
I think this is such a good set from both of these teams right now. I mean, they've just been playing so well. It's just that the minor league team has had slightly more consistent moments when they've come down to like these final, like, okay, this is going to win us the game. We have to perform here. But looking at like some of the little micro things where it's just like, well, they have to get Bulldozer. So if I itemize into morale boost, I get this ult up a little more often. They don't have anything to deal with me too regularly. And maybe I can ult more than they can hurt me. Having the Khan on your side, them not having a Makoa, they don't have a way to displace you out of the Ashe ult. And so I like where Wonderful's kind of approaching that. That being said, you've got Dethroner, Bulldozer 3, Bulldozer 1 there on Payan. Shu's going to start feeling this, and they're going to start feeling a distinct lack of healing and support coming down from the Aya.
Luna's going to start feeling those bulldozers. Overpower connects from Trenzik. He's at 300 health. Finally, some IO healing comes in, so they get the kill, get out safely. Could have been a tense moment there if he only traded out 1 for 1. Emmett Payne is the beneficiary of that overpower. Edgem's found himself a little space in behind Trenzik. Battle Shout's going to top off that health bar a good bit. And now Edgem under duress into the Enlightenment just to stay alive. Only connects with the shield. The defensive use of the Enlightenment could turn things around, but Dethroner's able to grab a kill.
Looking for the reload. Going to be able to get the Dome Shield down. And, well, with a Bulldozer 3, it doesn't matter whether Luna tries to contest him on this one or not. Dethroner has this point. Payan has a Fae Flight. They have an Inflame. They have 54%. I don't know if there's much the console league can do against odds like that.
They have a couple ultimates of their own, Sentinels and Beacon, but it really comes down to finding some of these long-range trades. It's going to be a lot harder now with the Inflame burning away. Edgem, nice shot onto Exodia to get rid of that Strix. Double chance from Wonderful, but neither's enough. Edgem double kill to secure this mid-fight. And Console League backpedals. They're going to have to try the defense one more time.
It's one of those scenarios. I mean, 2-2, if they find a defense here, is a deadly game to be playing against the minor league team, because then next round you could win either way. 3-1's just as dangerous, though, so you have to be very cautious about this round and what you end it with as they come through. They also have to be very cautious about how much they let a minor league team not only sustain, keep up, recharge in this case for their ults, but how far they get, how many credits they get, how many kills come through. All of these things are going to start playing an impact. One of the things that was big last game was the economy for the console league.
Yep.
Now the minor league has that going in their favor. They're going to have more items, higher tiered online compared to the console league team, which just means more versatility, more cauterize, more anti-heal on that, more bulldozer online, more wrecker online, resilience, haven, whatever they want, they got it.
Going to have that 600 credit boost from capturing 2 mid points. Ultimate's there for PCL. Going to have to use them maybe to defend. Minor league still in that charge up process. And this is where Exodia, I think, really needs to play a big role in the defense. You get free high ground and long lines of sight.
And it's nice and comfortable. Well, it's going to go the way of Edgem that time, though. I was about to start going into why he's going to be comfortable, gets a good shot. Shu going to be able to return that one at least a little bit onto Edgem, so they balance out in terms of their range. And that's the biggest thing. Breaking this base is very difficult unless you have that long-range fight. I think Strix makes it a little more in favor of the console league team, but if Edgem can keep finding trades like that, then they still have a leg in this fight.
Tay did not have his second chance off of cooldown, and it's no good for Atlas. Wonderful. Another kill. Has the assert dominance, but I think this is going enough in their favor that you hold on to your ults just for a little bit longer. Double kill from Exodia, back from spawn after Edgem evaporates him. He's able to move right back to his perch up on that high ground.
20 seconds left, a little over. I think there's 2 goals. Yes, you can get overtime. Try not to use any ults if you can, if you're the minor league team. Kill off Vivian, get rid of the Sentinels. Maybe try to burn a flashbang. Get all these things, then you've won the game. You can't usually get every single one of them, and they actually want the lead so heavily. They're going to pop the Faith Light now.
And the Inflame as well. Minor League moving in, looking for 1 more point to make it 3. Everyone in the PCL back in their base right now. Trensic moves forward, Payan drops down, flutters away. That Fox has been paying off. It's been contesting that payload this entire time. Assert dominance from Wonderful is going to buy some space, and Exodia from the high ground is going to grab the snipe, and that's all they need to get their second point.
I think you go into that using too many ults, in my eyes, if you're the minor league team. I think you could have held on to those, achieved the same result at the end of the day. But they pull out a lot from the console league team. So it kind of balances out. They do still have Be Gone going into the next round. At the end of the day, at a 99-99, that's enough to win you a point. Or if you're just caught out, maybe someone's chasing you down, you save your own life, you save your teammate's life. Could be interesting. I think the only ult on board right now, and it will be soon enough following behind it, will only actually be the Overpower Sentinels. Everything else is going to take a little while to get there with how fresh it was. And yeah, the economy's still favoring the minor league team, but keeping it 2-2 keeps it a little bit more even.
Remember, it was favoring the console team on Jag Falls. The same scenario where both mid fights go console league's way. 2 defenses, but then minor league's able to cap and push. So PCL may be looking to do some more of the same, and that's a great start to it with the kill on Payan. Lots of low health bars and 1 shot away from a clean sweep, and that's what they find. PCL very much in control of this mid.
Shu going to do his job. Stand here. Again, has a Be Gone. If you're looking for control, you're looking to make sure no one gets a touch. I can't think of literally any ult that can do it better other than maybe a Hyper Beam. But even then, Hyper Beam's not as wide as you're going to have. So Shu in a good position. Overpower was used, gets a kill, but they trade Tay for Trensic. So it's going to be a 4v4. Faith Light just came back up.
He's going to look to make use of it, but forced to immediately choose his positioning a little bit more carefully. Once Dethroner gets poked out and nobody else really in range, That spells a point for PCL, and maybe seeing the same streak that we saw on Jag Falls as PCL now have a chance to win despite being on the back foot the entire game.
It was a solid initial fight, and again, I blame more Hype Unit not saving ults. They burned everything for what would have just been a 3-1 lead, and that's where the disconnect is for me. I don't think a 3-1 lead is worth 3 ults. I think you maybe drop Dome Shield, see if it can get you something, but you don't use your Faith Flight. You don't use your Inflame for that one. You just say, well, you know what? We tried. We didn't get it. We're just going to hold on to them. Otherwise, you get this fight where they just win handily with the one Inflame, and you get that at the beginning of the previous mid instead.
Charge is quick. Already up to 25% and maybe used 10 seconds ago. Nice double setback from Tay. Assert dominance, that morale boost up and down, but the second chance from Tay is going to pull him right out of range of that one. They're fighting tooth and nail for every inch they could get here, PCL, but they're not able to find it. The quick turnaround from Edgem, that connects the Enlightenment. Payan finishes off wonderful once the Assert Dominance expires. Don't be fooled, Minor League are on defense here. Payload all the way back towards the mid.
Full press defense. Lock him in the base. They can't push the objective. And they don't really have anyone who is, sneaky that can get by, although, well, 2 kills right there. Make this one a 5v3. Even if you get some kills in return, someone is going to be able to break through and at least maintain some control.
Just a 1-for-1 to Throner. Not enough healing next to his turrets there. And PCL are able to break that hold. So now they move wonderful all the way up to the point. And you can see that one morale boost, kind of making a difference. He used Assert Dominance just a second ago and already back to 70%. You're going to have that pretty quickly on cooldown. He gets the setback onto Trenzik here. Up goes the shield. Payload's still moving forward, so PCL definitely still knocking on that door. Tay with the opening kill is going to maybe slow this one down.
And doing whatever he can. That shield has been a saving grace, but it gets taken down there. And Tay and Trenzik, whoever wins this one gains a massive amount of control over this fight. And for overtime, that's very important for Trenzik to be able to win this one, push down Tay, and kind of keep it going. They trade out Payan for Wonderful, but you still have the ability to contest without Wonderful, right? You need a little bit more. High ground control is in favor of the minor league team.
Yeah, you can contest without Wonderful, but I don't know if you can contest without Wonderful and Trenzik, and that's the situation they're in here. PML, they tie this one up at 6. Well, 6 total. Moving towards 7 with one final mid-fight. This is a big one for the console league. If you lose, you go home. If you win, you give yourself another chance against your minor league counterparts. This is a good rotation from Edgem. Now Leon is starting to hit hard.
Edgem had so many good moments. There's actually, right here, I think the ult, he pulls it out, and I swear it feels like the camera moves faster than his rifle actually does in that. You see it tracing with him, but all he needed was the edge of the screen was, is Ashe low enough? Can I kill her now? No? Okay, fling me back that way. And I think that's good awareness. I mean, peripheral vision is not something that I think I get to mention often in this game.
Yeah.
A lot of it is your crosshair on them? Good. Shoot. Is it not? Probably don't. That was one of those moments where the edge of the screen was more important than what was in the center.
Oh no, if I'm Exodia, I'm very sad right now. Edgem slides around the entire map, and Payan just tosses one long-range shot out to confirm the kill. So everything's good here for Minor League. T-Mac, one more kill onto Trenzik. Full control of this mid-fight to Minor League. A chance to zone, and a few ultimates as well.
I think they've done a good job at controlling Payan so far, but they're going to need a lot more than that. Again, banning the Willow would have been my second recommendation for this one. Because right now she's up in the air with a Fae Flight. They have 51% control. No one's standing on the objective right now. They get a little too aggressive. T-Mac drops down. They are up with a pretty hefty lead here for 3-3.
Lose to Throner, but Payan all the way in the back line of the console league base. 84% and climbing. Minor League feeling good about their chances. The last 2 members of console look to fall. They do. Minor League win. But you have to tip your hat to the console league team. They are your console wars champions for 2019. So they don't leave this week empty-handed. They win themselves that console wars tournament. But Minor League, they're the ones moving on.
And I don't know what scrims have taught them, but this set should teach them one thing. Don't give Payan Willow until she is either nerfed or until you figure out a better way to control. That's 2 hit scans, 3 hit scans technically, in a way to try and lock him down. But hey, if you bet on Hype Unit winning, you were right.
You were right.
They did.
All right, so now we can cycle back. You said Hype Unit's going to win. Which one were you talking about?
I actually was talking about the console league team. I thought they were going to be able to come through. After seeing Flashpoint handle all business the way they did, it kind of gave me some different vision. I figured we were going to see a little bit more based on what I've heard between these two teams. They play each other a lot, especially these last few weeks. And I was thinking, okay, that's when a console team pulls out some change in their meta, maybe change up the bans and they pick things up. But I think there was a little bit too much of a focus on the EV. I understand it's difficult to deal with on console, but much like Bees was saying, you got to play their meta if you're going to beat them at their game, and they just kept kind of keeping a little bit too much of their own flavor.
This is a good win for the minor league team. Remember, between them and Flashpoint down in the losers bracket, tomorrow is win, you go to the quarterfinals, lose, you go home. So lots on the line for both of these teams. That's tomorrow. To wrap up today, we'll go back to the desk.
Thank you guys so much from the Casters booth. Always a good call, as always. Paladins Minor League. Their team Hype Unit were able to actually make sure they could clutch that out. Or I really shouldn't even say a clutch. It was really a pretty clean 3-0. They played it extremely well, went through the motions, and were able to make sure that they capitalized on that win. And congratulations to the minor league team. That means only one console team survived, Bees. It's Flashpoint.
Only one console
Only one console team.
I have to say that the boys did good. The Hype Unit console team really did good. It definitely wasn't one of the stompier 3-0s that we've seen throughout the day, so props to them. And I think the fact that they've scrimmed each other a lot probably hurt the console team hurt the console team more than it hurt the PML team. They're definitely going to have a little bit more of an advantage coming in, knowing what the console team wants to do. As I said earlier in the last draft, when they're just banning out the Vivians and other such things, they're just stripping the console team of what they know, what they're comfortable with, and making it a little bit easier for themselves to pull out the dub.
Yeah, once again, everything looking all good in terms of slash slides for them. I mean, Payan, man, once again on this Willow, second time in a row, really showing not only her power, but his prominence as a player. You see him in so many of these different positions. Willow, more of the grounded, really, one of those more grounded blasters, but she has the ability to use opportunities like this, like Fae Flight, to be able to make sure she can maneuver in a way that makes it so dangerous to even fight against her, especially when she's got an ability like Dead Zone.
Yeah, for sure. We just see there as well. I don't know if they were directed towards the Willow, but I heard 2 shots from the Strix come out when she entered a Fae Flight. Had those 2 shots of hit, we might be looking at a totally different game right now, but unfortunately, definitely is a little bit harder for these boys to hit these aerial targets, as I spoke about earlier.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally just the prominence that you would have to be able to pull off if you're going to be able to play some of these characters like Willow. I mean, Payan has a very large hero pool. We had said that before, and I mean, it was just prominent right there. I mean, the Willow worked out twice, and they've been able to flex them on so many other different characters. Once again, congratulations to the minor league team, man. I mean, that just means that the bracket gets so much more interesting, because I was talking about a little bit in the back. I'll take a look at the bracket later, but of course, once again, congratulations to the minor league team. They did so well.
Yeah, coming from where they came in the first rounds to now actually coming out looking a lot stronger, it's going to be able to see, nice to see whether they can carry that momentum further through the tournament now when they start coming up against some of the larger teams that they did lose to at the start of the week. And I feel confident for them now, a lot more so than I would have said at the start.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I feel like their growth has been pretty exponential, despite both the console league and the minor league team pretty much going undefeated, except for one DQ on the form of the minor league team. They still are an extremely powerful team. Both of them were, and despite the console team being eliminated, man, I mean, props to them as always, being able to have that sort of togetherness to be able to scrim against both the console league and the minor league team working together. But of course, we can only talk to one winner. We're going to throw it down to the interview with the Hype Unit minor league team.
Well, congratulations, guys. You find a 3-0 over Hype Unit, which is weird to say considering who you are, but you play these guys a lot. I'm sure it was an interesting set. Was there any changes you had to make since you've scrimmed them before?
Well, for the last 2 weeks in scrims, I mean, we've been scrimming them for like a month now. Like, at the start of the month, we were taking it pretty serious against them. Yeah. Then the last 2 weeks, we were like, yo, we might, we actually, lowered our egos, and we were like, there's a chance we can actually lose to Kenga. And there's a chance, the bracket might match us up. So let's just give them everything they want in scrims. For the last 2 weeks, we gave them everything we wanted in scrims. So for, when we got to land, they were like, oh, we're going to give you guys this. You guys are going to give us this. We're just going to win. We're going to this map. We know y'all worst map. Stuff like that. We were just smiling. We were like, you guys don't even know. And we got to the match, and then the score said it.
And you grab yourselves the big 3-0 win. I am curious, yesterday you go up against, you know, PPL team, PC, kind of meta-centric stuff there, back down against a console team here. How is it? Is it tough at all, really, to adjust kind of play style, draft strategy, kind of bouncing back and forth between PC opponents, console opponents, and then tomorrow back against a PC opponent?
It's not really like that difficult. When it comes to drafting, there's just certain champs that are going to be let through, and you just have to prep for those. And for gameplay wise, they like to burn and like look a point a lot. So we have D make plays and in different places. So yeah.
Were any of those games kind of closer than you thought they were going to be? I mean, we knew going into it that you had played each other, and obviously with a 3-0, you didn't seem to have any trouble closing them out. But you know, going 3-3, you lost the first two on Jag in terms of mid fights. Was there any moment where you're like, oh, this might not go our way?
I felt that on Ice Mines. When we're up 2-0, I 100% thought we were going to 4 that game just because of how our draft was looking. But then when we lost the last two mids after the 2-0, I felt like it was going to be a little harder than what I expected going into the Ice Mines game, especially with the draft we got. But the rest of the games, Jag, it was really hard on first point. Because first, like, there's a glitch on Willow where, like, in the beginning of the game, you can't have key bindings. And so I had to restart and pause, and then certain situations were like where we paused, where it'd like be crucial for me to int, but I can't because I have no key bindings. So that's the only reason with Jag, and for having ults is really important. So for the games, we weren't really sweating. It was just...
Well, you kind of show it. And again, a 3-0 victory for you guys. You
yes,
come
sir.
off smiles all around. One win between you and quarterfinals being able to make it, and that one will happen tomorrow. We'll have to see what the results of that will be. But congratulations on your wins today.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Of course.
Yeah, welcome back, guys, and congratulations once again to the Paladins. Well, at least to the Paladins minor league team, but it is going to be Hype Unit minor league that is going to be able to take this win. And congratulations to them once again for being able to do so. And that sets up things for a really, really interesting bracket and really, really interesting matches for tomorrow and the rest of this week for sure. Because that's going to be those are going to be really, really sick.
Yeah, for sure. There's some big games dictating tomorrow how the lower bracket's going to end up being faced through. It's going to be tough. For either one of them, it's going to be tough for sure. But I feel like the lower brackets still have a good chance.
Yeah,
I feel like they're definitely not out at this point yet.
And then here's what's going to be interesting, guys. Okay, so we have SSG versus the Renegades today. Well, sorry, not today. Tomorrow. Excuse me. Goodness gracious. We already played all the matches for today. SSG versus Renegades tomorrow. Knights versus Kanga. The losers of those, SSG versus Renegades, whoever loses that one will play against Hype Unit PML. And whoever loses Pittsburgh Knights versus Kanga will have to play Flashpoint. And that's what's going to set up some extremely interesting matches and show who's going to be able to qualify.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the only thing I'm going to say is with the Knights, if they end up dropping the set, going back down against Flashpoint, Knights have already shown a phenomenally dominant game against console already. That's what I would be most worried about if I was Flashpoint at this moment, is if Knights end up losing that set, because that's going to be tough for them if they go to Kanga as well. To be fair though, as I said, Kanga play weird. Kanga have like their own style of play that if you're not used to, which Flashpoint probably won't be used to, it's going to be tough for them as well. But I'm hyped to see the Renegades. Whoever ends up dropping between SSG Renegades, I'm pretty excited to see that one.
Yeah, of course. It's going to be a good few matches for tomorrow. I am so excited for that. But, of course, for today, that's all that we got for you guys. Tune in at 11 a.m. tomorrow to be able to see some more awesome matches. I'm Fawn. This was Bees, and we'll see you guys at 11 a.m. tomorrow. Bye, guys.
We're here live from Atlanta. The players are here. The stage is set. Let's get down for esports! Where we also talk about the new stuff that we've got coming out for you all.
Look, HRX is literally my favorite time of year. It truly isn't close. This is what I live for.
If that's second place, I can't wait to see what first place is.
It is HRX.
If not, that's A-okay. But I am now here. Probably smart to wait until they're done with their interview here for this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know, they're not that audible. I could be the distraction.